Hello!
Hello, everyone.
This is Cammie, and
This is Shelby.
we just finished our Freedom Extreme here in Las Vegas, and oh my goodness, the youngsters on this planet, they continue to amaze me. Like the stuff that they're getting at ages 12, 14, 16 years old, I'm like, I'm just barely learning this, and you're totally getting it at
Like
your
they
age.
get
It's
it.
amazing.
Like the conversation is this small, when in my mind I'm thinking these guys are young. We'll have a conversation that'll last a couple hours, and then maybe they'll understand a little bit of it. They're teaching us. Like we get out there and we share the concept, and then they take it another level for us.
For real.
It's mind-blowing.
We are the students once again, and that's what we love. That's
Yeah.
what we love to be, so that's perfect. So we just wanted to share just a couple things that happened that totally stuck out to us over the last 2 days. So Freedom Extreme is like a day and a half, and in that time, these kids, like in a day and a half, shifted so much. Holy flip. Holy
shift.
Right? So, one of the examples, one of the things that happened that I just was really in awe about was the young man, very, very first, like 20 minutes, of us starting. He was so willing to be seen, and he says, we were going around sharing our intentions, and he says, my intention for this time is to let go of my fear. And I asked him if I could coach him a little bit around his intention, and he was totally open to that, and he's like, absolutely. And so I asked him, everybody in the room, I'm like, everybody shut your eyes, take a deep breath, and imagine something that you're totally afraid of, and they all went there. And then I said, now just go ahead and let it go. Right? Just let it go.
Just decide. I'm going to let go of my fear.
choose.
Just right now, in this minute.
It'll be gone. You'll never have to deal with it again. It'll be so awesome. And I said, just raise your hand when you're done letting it go. And nobody raised their hands. And I'm like, what's going on? Aren't you guys ready to just let this go? And they're like,
don't we need to process?
we
Does
don't
it
know
take
how to
like
do
days
that.
or years or something?
And so then I went back to this young man and said, so his intention to let go of his fear, I said, can I help you reword that? And we talked about vibrationally, feeling fear is at a lower vibrational level. But what would happen with this young man is as soon as he'd feel the fear, then he'd get mad at himself for feeling afraid and be like, I shouldn't feel this, right? So the judgment would come in, and that would drop his vibration, because then he would get mad at himself getting mad, and that would drop his vibration, and eventually he'd go clear down into shame, which is resonating at a level of 20 on the vibrational scale from the book called Power versus Force,
Which is right the last level before death.
And so the fear that he felt was at this point, but once he was afraid that he was afraid, or mad that he was afraid, or ashamed that he was afraid, then his vibrational level went down, right? So I invited him to be in a space, now here's where fear is, right? Of love. Love the fear instead of hate the fear or get mad at the fear, because those types of things brought him down. I invited him to love his little boy that is totally afraid. And the love vibration is clear up here. And so then you feel just the fear, not the fear plus the mad plus the shame. You just feel the fear, and you love yourself in that. So I had him close his eyes and take a couple breaths and imagine his 6-year-old little self being totally afraid and frightened of the situation that's current in his life. And he started crying. He got into that space. And I said, this little boy, what does he need from you? And he's like, I just want to wrap my arms around him. And he did that. And he just pulled him onto his lap, and he was just snuggling him and holding, right? That's totally true. And I said, what is this little boy who's afraid? What does he need from you? Like, are you wanting to get mad at him because he's afraid? And he's like, no, I don't want to get mad at him. And I said, what do you want to do? And he's like, I want to tell him he's okay. I want to tell him that I love him. And I'm like, tell him. And so he tells his little inner child who's afraid that everything's going to be okay. And he's just sobbing. And I had him take a deep breath and completely realign his intention to, instead of letting go of the fear, to let go of the judgment that he had on the fear. And that in that space he was able to love himself through the fear. And his over the 2-day duration, like, he totally just started shining and showing up and being confident and
serving and loving and interacting and connecting with all of the people that were here. It was a shift that happened within a matter of a half hour, literally,
from the very beginning.
Yeah.
It was so beautiful. So beautiful. So,
and that happened over and over and over again over the past 2 days. The intentions that these kids shared at the very beginning were all met at the very end. They all shared, this was my intention, and this is how it was met. It wasn't a if it was met, it was absolutely met.
This is how.
And it was really fun to hear how they had created and manifested their intentions to be met. Some spoke up when they didn't think they would ever speak up. Some expressed emotion in front of the entire group and allowed their full, like, even some of their habits that were embarrassing and shameful for them were shared amongst the group, and the group just loved and accepted and enveloped them in love. You see that type of thing at YFF and Youth for Freedom, Freedom Extreme. This is what it is.
So that was just a yummy piece from our weekend that we wanted to share with you. Instead of letting go of the emotion, let go of the judgment that you have towards the emotion, and watch what happens.
We're humans.
You get on the other side of that, and you see all the gifts and the emotions and all the yumminess. So, thank you for coming and joining us in this little corner. See this corner? We love
Cammie's
you.
Corner.
Cammie's Corner.
Mwah.